Meantime, one of Canada's most important border crossings for commercial traffic remains partially closed. Anti-mandate protesters on the Canadian side of the Ambassador Bridge, which links Windsor to Detroit, have stopped traffic from crossing from the U.S. Now, some vehicles are getting through Canada into the United States. Windsor's mayor says the protest won't be tolerated for long, and he wants at least one lane of traffic getting through. Let's pick up on that ask now. Drew Dikens is the mayor of Windsor, joins us this morning here on CB24 Breakfast. Mayor Dikens, thank you for joining us. What is the latest on your request to have at least one lane of traffic reopened into Canada?
Well, the good news is right now, Nick, traffic heading to the United States is open through the city of Windsor, so that's good news. That's half the battle, but the illegal blockage still is happening for trucks coming into Canada from the United States. So that part of the bridge is still closed. And so police continue to negotiate with the protesters to try and get access to at least one lane in each direction so that international trade can continue to happen. But we also respect the fact that they have a right to protest, and we're trying to find a way to accomplish both goals.
A right to protest, that is protected right in this country, but the right to block, economic, business, personal activity, where does the line get drawn here? And why do you think, whether it's Ottawa, Windsor, or wherever, things seem to be taking so long to make any progress?
Well, I think, to me, this is a bright line here. When you start choking off the busiest border crossing between our two countries, and for perspective, for people who are watching, we're talking 8,000 to 10,000 trucks a day, and on any given day, between $300 and $500 million of goods cross a day at this one border crossing. It's almost a full third of our international trade with the United States at this one particular crossing. So it certainly has immediate and material impacts on the economies of not just Canada, but also the United States. And I think this is a bright red line that you cannot allow this type of blockade to happen without some sort of intervention. Yeah,
and let's pick up on what you're talking about there, because there's a lot of assembly, automotive, et cetera, business in Windsor, industry there. A lot of this is just-in-time sort of deals, right? I mean, they don't have stockpiles of goods. It comes across and it gets assembled. If these parts can't come across the border, what's that going to mean to the workers on the Windsor side?
Well, Windsor is home to Stellantis. We make the Chrysler Pacifica and the minivans right here in the city. And I can tell you, within the first 60 minutes of the border being closed a couple of days ago, Stellantis was on the phone saying, what's going on at the border crossing and how long is this going to take? And so that impact it's felt almost immediately. And I think people need to know, we often say that the average part that goes into a vehicle that rolls off the finish line in either Detroit or in Windsor has crossed the border on average 6 times. And that speaks to the tight integration of our supply chains on either side of the border. And so when you add in just-in-time delivery, people can appreciate very, very quickly that there is not huge stockpiles in the manufacturers' sites of material. They rely on easy access and smooth and efficient border crossings. And so the impact is felt almost immediately, and that's why, because of the order of magnitude of what we're talking about, that is why this cannot be allowed to be sustained for any given period of time.
So how difficult is this for you as a mayor? I can understand it's personally difficult, in a city where so much of this relies on this, but as the mayor, what kind of, strength do you have? It seems this is something that's going to be dealt with either at a provincial or federal level, or, this negotiation via police. How hard is it for you to sit there and try to do what you can do, but it seems what you can do is somewhat limited?
Well, listen, you're right. Municipal police can do so much, in this particular case. And I have a vested interest as mayor of a city that relies on smooth and efficient border crossings. But I also live in Ontario and I'm a Canadian. And this type of closure, this type of blockade has an immediate impact to our national economy. When you're talking up to $500 million a day of goods that cross, it's not just automotive. We're talking about farmers. We're talking about all sorts of goods to market that travel through this corridor. And so it is very difficult. There will be, if there's no movement, I would submit today with the negotiations with the protesters, then it will require some federal intervention to come down and say, guys, we are not going to tolerate a closure of our, a chokage of our economic pipeline. That's just not going to happen.
Okay, it's certainly something we're watching very closely. Mayor Drew Dikens from Windsor, thanks so much for being here on CB24 Breakfast this morning.
Thanks, Nick.